Well, after a nearly 30-year career in the military, I know very well what it's like to be scared of confidentiality and how that might affect one's military career. One thing I noticed over my career in the Army is that it never did. So there's this stigma attached to seeing somebody in behavioral health or admitting that you have a traumatic brain injury, and somehow that's going to adversely affect your career, and that's just not the case. And in fact, it can be just the opposite. If you have a behavioral health problem or you have a problem with brain injury and that adversely affects your performance and your command does not know about that or address that, it would be more likely to negatively impact your career by not having those issues addressed than by having those issues addressed.
Blast injuries can be very severe or can be very subtle, and sometimes subtle changes can be unrecognized. People come home and they're a little bit different. They might be a little bit anxious, might have trouble sleeping, might have headaches, might be forgetful. And if you're home and things aren't right, it's a good idea to check and see what could be wrong. The deployment time should not be a consideration with regard to enrolling in a study. There are many studies where there's an initial encounter and that takes place at a medical facility, and other things are conducted by email, by telephone, by distance, and are accomplished yearly or can have gaps of several months or years in between and still be part of a study and still give us valid information.
One of the things we do in our long-term study is really do an in-depth analysis, a 2 to 4 day in-depth analysis of their cognitive function, their physical function, how their brain looks on an MRI, their blood biomarkers. And so to a certain extent, that is of use to some individuals. And then many individuals and volunteers just do it because they feel like they want to give back. And ultimately they want to help find cures for these really, really difficult problems.
Please visit our website at cnrmstudies.org. Subscribe to our Facebook page, Twitter feed, YouTube channel, and Instagram. That's where you'll have access to TBI and PTS resources. Please give us a call. We would love to hear from you. Together, we can make a difference.